Okay, I've been asked to do a quick demonstration of how to make a pronumeral the subject. So this is my example question. So you can see at the moment we've got v is equal to pi r squared h, and what we've got to do is make r the subject. Okay, so in this case we're going to make r the subject for values where r is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so to do that, what we've got to do is use some of our algebraic techniques in order to take this equation, and instead of v being the subject, which it is at the moment, we need to make r the subject. So that means that we need to move some of these other constants and some of these other pronumerals over from the right hand side to the left hand side, and then we're going to have to do something to get rid of this r squared and turn it just into an r. So we want to end up with r is equal to, and then whatever the formula is going to be. Okay, so to get started, we want to move the pi over to the left hand side, and we want to move the h over to the left hand side. Now the easiest way to do that is to divide this side here, the right hand side, by pi h, and that's going to take both the pi and the h and cancel them out. But whatever we do to the left hand side, you've also got to do to the right hand side. So we're also going to divide it by pi h, and that's going to leave us on the right hand side just with the r squared. So on the left hand side we're going to end up with v divided by or over pi h is equal to r squared. Now in order to get rid of the r squared and turn this just into an r, you'd remember that the inverse operation of squaring is the square root. So what I'm going to do in order to get rid of the r squared is take the square root of the right hand side. So if we take the square root, let's go with a grey pen for that one. So if I take the square root of this side, then that's going to cancel out the r squared. And I'm also going to have to take the square root of the right hand side. Now you'll see over here, you'll remember that when we take the square root of a square number, we normally end up with a plus and a minus value, a positive and a negative value. But we've been told in the question that r is actually greater than 0. And so if r is greater than 0, that means that it can't be the negative value. So we're only going to have, in this case, the positive value, because we know that r is greater than 0. So on our next line, I'm going to switch. The left hand side is going to become the right hand side. So I'm going to take this value here first of all and just say r then becomes equal to the positive square root, I'm not going to worry about the negative one, of v over pi h, and let's just fix up our square root sign there, and that's our final response. So we've now transposed to make r, this value over here, the subject, and so we know that r is equal to v over pi h and the square root, or the square root of v over pi h. Hopefully that helps.